Hi guys, it's reaction time. Firstly though, thank you so much to Black Lead, the great heavy metal band, for sending me this t-shirt. Man, they sent me another t-shirt. I've got 2 t-shirts and a CD from these guys. Amazing stuff. I will always appreciate things that are sent to me from bands. I really do. Much appreciate you guys. Anyway, let's get on to this reaction. KK's Priest, One More Shot at Glory. It's coming off the new album, The Sinner Rides Again, on September the 29th. These guys are signed to Napalm Records. And of course, do they need any introduction? KK Downing, Tim Ripper Owens, and some brilliant musicians to go along with them as well. So, I want to go back and just talk about the last album. The last album, at first, I liked. I thought it was great, but it quite quickly wore off, I'm sorry to say. I don't know what it was. I think production wise I quite liked it at first, and it sounded quite poor. God, I hate being negative, but you know, KK's Priest don't give a fuck what I say, so it doesn't really matter. But production wise I didn't really like it in the end. When you sit it side by side, when you're doing a reaction, for instance, you know, you're hyped up for the reaction, and sometimes it can, you know, you get a bit excited and, you know, maybe it's not what you exactly thought. And once the record spends time with you, you get to hear, you know, weaknesses, or it wears off quickly. And it did with the first album. In fact, I think lyrically as well, even though I thought it was quite fun at first, quickly wore off. I thought it was a little bit too, I don't know, it was a little bit juvenile, some of the lyrics. I could see where they were going with it, but it put me off as well as the production, and it almost felt like a rush putting it together. But they've been together like as a band for a little while now. I think they've done some touring as well, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, I've had a couple of messages to say that it's a great song. It's a really great song, and what really made me sit up and notice was my mate Mark, who's a subscriber and an idiot, of course, said that it reminds him more like along the line of Iced Earth, because obviously Tim Ripper Owens was in Iced Earth and produced one of my favourite albums from Iced Earth, The Glorious Burden. So I'm like, my ears pricked up. I thought if anything sounds like Iced Earth, I'm interested, because they were one of my favourite bands, and I can't stop listening to Iced Earth. I love them. So that's me whinging about something. I'm hoping, you know, no one takes it to heart. It's just my opinion. Like I said, I liked the album at first. I didn't hate it, by the way. It was just like, in the end, it definitely didn't make anywhere near my top albums of the year. But there's so much more new music now, you know, it's hard. Anyway, choosing a top 20 albums is impossible these days. So with Mark saying that, it's got me excited to hear this. So KK's Priest, One More Shot at Glory. Here we go, guys. I'm gonna have to stop it there, guys, because there could be a solo coming, and I didn't want to stop it at the wrong time. So, oh yeah, this is more like it, man. The production is so much better as well. It's got a real fullness to it this time. I think the bass is ramped up a little bit more, giving that as well. I mean, there was obviously the musicianship is just off the charts, and it always with KK's Priest, the last album, the musicianship is amazing. Maybe songwriting was let down for me a little bit on the last one. Definitely not the case here. And man, I know exactly what Mark is saying about the Iced Earth feel. Without a doubt, it feels darker, it feels heavier. You know, the riffing, it's got that sort of real, it's galloping, but it's like quite almost John Schaefer-esque riffing going on. I love that, man. I absolutely love that. Even the way that Ripper's singing, really aggressive. You know, them screams just sound perfect. It is, yeah, more closer to Iced Earth than Judas Priest for me, this is. And that's never a bad thing for me. I'm not the biggest Judas Priest fan either. So just anything that sounds like Iced Earth, I'm like, yeah, I'll have some of that. Amazing stuff. Love the galloping metal, man. This is what galloping metal should sound like, and it's just done perfectly. Such a step up. This is easily the best song I've heard from KK's Priest. Easily. And like I said, didn't hate the last album either. Just wore off quite quick and didn't make like my top albums of that year and was nowhere near it. But man, this sounds 10 times better than anything they did on the last album for sure. It's almost they needed that time to settle down and know each other properly and produce an album or a song. I don't know the album's going to be any good, but the song is absolutely fantastic. It's got real aggression in it. I think that was lacking in the last one, the power and aggression. A lot of that coming from the production, I think, missing. But I think this is more than enough made up for that side of it for sure. It's going to be a great solo, I can tell. It's got into like this breakdown bit. I'm sure this is going to be where it changes up. Really getting excited to hear some lead guitar. Here we go, guys. Wow, man. superb. Loved it. Epic. Loved the slow parts as well. That wasn't just like galloping metal. When it slowed down, it just brings more, I don't know, more interesting flavour to the song. You know, it went in loads of different directions, but mainly it sounds like the songwriting is just upped so much, like 100% for sure. Sounds so much better, man, and in production as well. So the sound of it, the songwriting, the musicianship is never in doubt. Never. And Ripper, by the way, sounds amazing on this. He sounds like he did back on that Glorious Burden album. I mean, he just never really disappoints in his vocals. But sometimes, you know, you want to hear him in a certain style, in a certain band, because he does a lot of stuff like outside of KK's Priest. He, like, you know, guests on a load of stuff, but that Iced Earth type feel, and now this is exactly where I want to hear Ripper Owens for sure. Sounds amazing. He really does. That was a really good taster of what's to come on the new album, guys. I'm hoping we get a bit more of that for sure. And the lyrics weren't corny or anything like that, like the last album. You know, that was a bit cringeworthy sometimes, I think, on the last album. A bit too much. Almost felt like a bit of a joke at times because it was so corny. Definitely not the case here. Everything is so much better. Let me know, guys, what you think of that in the comments below. I'll see you soon.